Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Foxy New.
Deontay Wilder calls Tyson Fury a cheater. I can't believe this guy said this. Deontay Wilder is accusing Tyson Fury of loading his gloves. He went in on Mark Breland, and he's demanding Tyson Fury honor his third fight rematch clause. Let's break this down, man. Deontay Wilder even came out and stated that, Tyson Fury knows that he was offered more to fight Anthony Joshua than he was to fight him. So he basically comes out and admits that he ducked Anthony Joshua. Now the truth comes out and everybody sees that Anthony Joshua was the most feared, most dangerous fighter in the heavyweight division and was blatantly ducked by Deontay Wilder. And this came from his own mouth. Not only that, Mike Covington even come out and confirms a part of Deontay Wilder's statement that he also dismissed Mark Breland as being a disloyal member of his team for throwing in the towel. So you're dismissing and calling the guy disloyal, the same dude that turned around and saved your life? He's disloyal? He saved your life, you moron, and he's disloyal? Deontay Wilder can't be this stupid. He cannot be. Even Eddie Hearn went in on this moron by basically saying, I thought Anthony Joshua ducked you. See, now the truth comes out. Now we see all of this because when the facts are presented, you can't run or hide from the truth. And Deontay Wilder was obviously in his feelings and his emotions when he went in on Tyson Fury and Mark Breland. Let's understand this. And a lot of fanboys keep saying, these aren't excuses. These are facts. So what we're going to do is separate excuses from facts and break down the truth like we always do. We start with Tyson Fury's gloves. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder said his gloves were loaded. He had to have some in his gloves. But then how come Tyson Fury's gloves for both fights were checked by the athletic commissions? The athletic commissions checked his gloves in both fights. They watched him get his hand wrapped. They saw that nothing was in the gloves. They never left his sight from backstage to the ring walk. So how could his gloves have been loaded? And not only that, a member of Deontay Wilder's own team was available both times. So if you're saying that somebody loaded his gloves, then that means that a member of your team and the athletic commission all had conspired to help Tyson Fury beat a hype job. That makes no sense. That's been debunked. But a lot of fanboys' biggest issue is, how come Deontay Wilder has this dent in his head? Why is his head dented? Why does he have this dent? Let me break you, down as to why this has a dent in his head. According to medical news today, a skull fracture can occur as a result of a blow or impact to the head. Injury to the skull can occur after any direct force, such as a car accident, a fall, or a physical assault. He was physically assaulted by a grown man who knows how to box in Tyson Fury. And the fact that he couldn't defend himself allowed Tyson Fury to hit that same spot again and again and again until his skull fractured. You've even seen this in Kell Brook Triple G when his skull fractured. So at the end of the day, we see what happens when a guy gets repeated blows to the head, and we understand that bones do break. This guy's an absolute moron. You couldn't say, Tyson Fury. You can't come up with any other excuses. I hear other excuses. Tyson Fury was on the juice. He couldn't have been on the juice. Why? Because he passed all the VADA tests, you morons. They say, well, Tyson Fury had all the advantages coming into the fight. What the hell are you talking about? What advantages did he have? All the judges were Americans. The referee was American. Everything was in Deontay Wilder's favor. This fight was set up for him to win, and he still lost. He's a moron. But not only that, let's get into the truth of the matter. Is Deontay Wilder being ducked? Is Tyson Fury just not honoring their agreement for the trilogy? Is he not honoring the agreement? Yes, he is. And at the end of the agreement is, the contract said it expires after a certain date, and Deontay Wilder allowed the contract to expire. Him and his idiotic, moronic team allowed the contract to expire. So Tyson Fury is not even obligated at this point to give him a trilogy. So it's not about what you want. It's not about how you feel. It's not about what you think. These are the facts. You allowed the contract to expire like a moron. That was on you. You should have read the contract, idiot. And look, if you want to blame anybody, if Deontay Wilder needs to blame anybody, this is who Deontay Wilder needs to blame in this specific order. Let's start with the idiots. Idiot number one, Shelly Finkel. You need to blame Shelly Finkel for not being smart enough to read a contract and for also being dumb enough to allow you to turn down DAZN's $100 million offer to fight Anthony Joshua, because at the end of the day, you screwed yourself onto this, you stupid moron. But not only that, who else does Deontay Wilder need to be mad at? He needs to be mad at Al Heyman and the PBC for allowing him to cherry pick his way through his whole career. He needs to be mad at Al Heyman and the PBC for allowing him to duck top fighters like Dillian White and Anthony Joshua. That's who he needs to be mad at. But who else does Deontay Wilder need to be mad at? He needs to be mad at himself for being a moron. And let me explain. He needs to be mad at himself for not developing skills, for feeling like a right hand was the only thing you needed to compete at the top and elite level in boxing, for, feeling yourself too much. You got to be a moron to think only the right hand and power is the only thing you need. You don't need skills. You don't need to know how to box. When in reality, you do. You stupid idiot. You do. And look, who else does Deontay Wilder need to be mad at? Himself, his training team, his management, any and everybody around him feeding these delusions, and all of these fanboys pumping him up year after year with these delusions. But not only that, Deontay Wilder, this guy is twerking. He's making excuses. He's firing a man who saved his life, not reading the contract like a moron, and refusing to develop skills in the gym. Deontay Wilder is officially garbage truck juice.